I got the moves. I got the moves. I'm making moves. You gotta move. You gotta make the city move. Like, whoa. I make the city move. I got the move.
So James Harden has been going on an absolute tear recently, averaging 41.3 points per game in his last 17. And though he has been receiving a lot of praise, he has also been receiving enormous amounts of hate and disrespect during this historic stretch. In today's video, I'll be looking at James Harden's amazing 17 games and the hate he has received, and rebutting against some of the hate arguments towards him. If you're new here and enjoy the video, be sure to drop it a like and subscribe. But with that being said, let's talk about James Harden. James Harden is on a historic run right now with the Rockets. He's going ballistic. In his last 17 games, he's averaging 41.3 points, 9.2 assists, and 7.5 rebounds per game, as well as over 2 steals per game. His shooting splits are above what he normally gets too, shooting 43% from the field and 38.5% from the 3-point line. His free throw percentage is nearly at 90%, and his plus minus is positive 8.2. Not only this, but he has been leading his injured supporting cast to wins, with a 13-4 record in the last 17 games. That is insane. As I mentioned, his supporting cast is injured. During this 17-game stretch, Harden has been missing Chris Paul, Eric Gordon, and Clint Capella at some point, and is still taking the Rockets to wins with insanely clutch performances, like versus the Golden State Warriors. So how can he receive hate for all this? Well, NBA trolls always find a way. One constant cloud over Harden's bright streak this season are the fouls and free throws Harden has been receiving. On the season, Harden is averaging 11.4 free throws per game, which is a lot, most attempts per game in the league, but is far less than what people make it out to be. Also, the biggest worry for these Harden haters is the 27 free throw attempt game versus Memphis. And according to them, this is the only reason why he does so well in the recent historic run is because of how many free throws he's been getting. Well, I actually looked at all the box scores throughout the last 17 games and found that on average, James Harden attempts 13 free throws per game, only 2 more or just 1 foul more than the rest of the season average. Yes, it is a lot, but people are making it out to be that Harden scores half his points from the free throw line this stretch. But really, I can only say that that's maybe happened twice. And also, are we going to ignore the fact that Giannis Antetokounmpo averages 9 free throw attempts per game, and that when he played the Rockets, he shot more free throws than Harden? Because if we criticize Harden for getting to the line, I think it's only fair to criticize the Greek Freak too for doing the same thing, right? I haven't seen anything about Giannis' attempts at the line. Maybe it's because he didn't have a game where he took 27 of them, but if we are going to complain about Harden, then it should make sense to complain about Giannis too, right? And Harden has been consistently averaging 10 free throw attempts a game throughout his time with the Rockets, so why is it a problem now all of a sudden? I agree with what Harden said in an interview after he was asked about the fouls on him. He said, "If you don't want me to shoot free throws, stop fouling me." And it's really as simple as that. I'm going to follow on with this next section because it flows well with the fouls, and that's flopping. I know a lot of you are typing away saying Harden only gets fouls because he flops, and I won't lie, in some cases it is true, like 1 in 50, but every time, I honestly don't think so. Yes, I do think Harden can over-exaggerate the contact to have more of a chance the foul is called, but the reason why he does look like he flops is because their contact is actually there. People act like Harden doesn't even get touched and he flops, but let's be reasonable. Of course contact is there when he so-called flops, because when there is no contact, he makes the layup, no complaints. The only time I have ever seen Harden flop is when he is actually hit and the foul is deserved. That little bit of acting he does every now and again just helps him get to the charity stripe. Another disrespectful argument against Harden is that he is a ball hog and a shot chucker, but this could be any less from the truth. I've seen this argument appear in the comment section of James Harden's Instagram posts, and it's honestly frustrating. This season, James Harden is averaging 23 field goal attempts per game, the most in the league, and he hits about 43.7% of these attempts, which is decent. But most of the hate is coming from recent games, where James Harden has been shooting 30 plus attempts per game. But if I'm completely honest, Harden has been earning these attempts, as over the past 4 games, where he has shot over 30 field goal attempts in a game, excluding one where he shot 24, he shot these percentages from the field: 51.5%, 34.4%, 50%, and 43.3%. In 3 of these games he has shot at or above his average, and the only game he didn't, we can all admit he had an off game where he shot 1 for 17 from 3. But everyone has an off night once in a while, and the next game he dropped 57 points, so I guess he kind of made up for that performance. And I know this may be a bad stat to use, but Harden averages 8 assists per game, and you have to pass for that, so that doesn't really seem like he's a shot chucker to me. I just think he gets the ball a lot because he's the best player on his team, and all his all-star caliber players are out with injuries most games this season. Let's be real. So I just don't think Harden is a shot chucker at all in my eyes. The final part of disrespect I see flying around, especially come playoff time, is that Harden is a choker. And whilst it's nowhere close to playoffs yet, I haven't seen any choking from him during the regular season, except maybe against the Dallas Mavericks. He came up very clutch versus the Golden State Warriors. He had a contested buzzer beater to win the game after a BS no call from the refs down the other end. Overall, I think Harden hasn't had a big choke in a game yet this season, again, except against Dallas. He's just had a couple of off nights here and there. So overall, the conclusion to this is pretty simple. Respect greatness. It might be a while before we see something like this again. Harden is single-handedly taking a team whose starting 5 changes every night to a home court playoff seed. Remember, only a few weeks ago, the Rockets were 1-5, now they're 25-18, and that's all on the shoulders of James Harden. Yes, the way he's doing it is different to how it's been done before, but it's not his fault. Harden is just playing his game and doing what he can do to try and take the Rockets on a deep playoff run. Again, respect greatness, because James Harden is doing something only done by some of the greatest players of all time, and it's giving him a chance for a second MVP. But what do you guys think of this? Is it time to stop the hate on James Harden? I personally believe it's gone too far because he is making history and carried an injured Rockets team, and it's just phenomenal and people just keep hating on it. Yes, I'm a Rockets fan, so there may be some bias in here, but I think all NBA fans should just look at what Harden's done and not criticize it. Just respect the amazing accomplishment he's done. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop it a like and subscribe. But with that being said, I am out. Peace.
First name Benjamin, last name Counter. Pull up with this motherfucking tech, fuck a bouncer. First name Benjamin, last name Counter. Bitch, when you see me, call me Mr. Benjamin Counter. First name Benjamin, last name Counter. Pull up with this motherfucking tech, fuck a bouncer. First name Benjamin,